Welcome to Eventful Endeavors, secrets to crafting the perfect celebration. If you're planning an event and looking for useful tips from industry experts, you're in the right place. So get ready to take some notes and we'll dive right in. This is Eventful Endeavors.
Hey everyone, this is Alyssa from Felix and Fingers, and I'm here today with Sydney from My Event Buddee. Welcome, Sydney.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
Thank you. I'm super excited that you are here. Sydney's work is amazing. You should definitely go check out her website, go look at everything. I love looking through all the pictures, and you just have such great branding and great vision, I think, for whenever I look through your stuff. I love being able to go through and doing that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So we're going to take that amazing vision and I'm just going to ask you some questions, pick it apart, and try to get some helpful information for everybody listening today.
Sounds perfect.
So my first question for you is what current I can't talk today. What current trends are you seeing from the wedding and event industry right now?
Oh, there's so many, and it's hard because my focus on weddings is like, I want it to be about you as a couple. It is your day. Yes, there are trends going on, but it's your day. You don't need to adhere to the trends. Bows are coming back. Bows are very much a trend these days. Also too, depending on kind of the season, the black and white is very trendy right now, very classic editorial look. A lot of people are wanting that kind of style for photography. And again, it's phases, it's trends, and that's how it works in the industry, and that's how it works in life, just like with fashion, just like with anything. So I would say those are pretty trendy right now. Lots of candles. That's always been a pretty prominent thing at weddings. Spending more on florals is definitely becoming more of a trend. So not necessarily everyone's on board for that because flowers get expensive. However, they really do make a wedding and it's just absolutely beautiful. Hiring a month of day of coordinator is definitely trending. That is what I do. So I also do full planning. But being able to have someone there, your advocate the day of, is just so essential. And making sure everything flows smoothly. So if you don't know what a month of coordinator is, let me know because I can definitely explain that.
I love that. Well, can you explain it just for anyone who doesn't know? Yeah.
So nowadays we call it month of coordinator. Back in the day, it's like day of coordinator. I say month of also just because I can't show up the day of your wedding and know all the logistics, know all the details.
You'd be pretty awesome if you could do that.
I know. If only could like read your brain,
I just knew. Yeah, I just have this really great intuition.
Yes, exactly. So month of coordination is basically where I sit down with you about a month and a half before your wedding date. We flush out all the details, all the necessary information that I need to know to make sure your day is executed perfectly, all the way down from decor to the ceremony processional, reception details, tear down at the end of the night, every nook and cranny. If there is a hiccup in there somewhere, the bride and groom or bride and bride do not know anything that's going on because I take care of it behind the scenes. That's the crazy person. If you've been to a wedding running around like a lunatic, that would be me. They're the ones behind the scenes just making sure everything runs smoothly and that your vision and your dream is executed perfectly, and you don't have to put your family on it or have your guests clean up at the end of the night. And yeah, so long story short, it's just I'm your buddy through your wedding day or your event day, whatever it is, and just making sure everything that's been planned ahead of time is executed to fruition exactly how you would want it.
I love that. I think that's so important too, of just like keeping the stress low day of and having somebody that you know is going to be in your corner, because if we know anything from life, like it's never going to go exactly the way that you want it to go.
Exactly.
And so I think really having somebody, like you said, having somebody in your corner, having a buddy is so important to being able to focus on the things that really matter that day and give somebody else all the things that shouldn't have to matter to you in the moment.
Absolutely. That's exactly what it is. I mean, having it so you are an actual guest at your own event, you don't have to be like, oh crap, did the florist get here? Oh crap, is my decor set up? Like, those things you shouldn't have to worry about on your wedding day or the day of, a big family reunion or stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay, so my next question might be a hard one, but what is something that you think that couples should never do? Like, what's something that you don't like that you've seen happen before?
I just talked about this on my social media. To my couples that have done this in the past, I love you. It's nothing against you. Okay. So I have to just full on say that right
Give
away.
your full disclaimer.
Full disclaimer. I love you all. But from personal experience and from just what I've seen, having candles lined down the center aisle, especially if the aisle is pretty tight, if you're in kind of a more smaller, intimate venue space, is a big no-no in my opinion, just because your guests, as they're walking, they're not looking at the floor. They're trying to find their seat. They're going to be knocking those candles over. We're scraping candle wax, trying to make sure the bride doesn't get, or the groom, or bride and bride, or groom and groom, whoever it is that is getting married, doesn't have to see it. Because that happens and things get knocked over. There have been situations where dresses have caught on fire. And yes,
This has happened that you've seen?
Yes, it has happened.
Oh
So,
my gosh.
yeah,
That's
so
like my worst nightmare.
yes. So I just am like, nope, I don't think we should do that. That is one thing. Yes, it's beautiful for photos and stuff. If there's a way that your guests can enter into their seats without going down the center aisle, then I would say that is a possibility, as long as your wedding party and you are fully aware that there are fire hazards in your walking distance. So
I would be the person that would like catch on fire from the fire hazard.
right. So that is one thing that I've been kind of steering clear for weddings, specifically. Also, I would say this isn't maybe a not do. This is like a do, like you need to do, is after you get married, and after you sign the marriage license, all those things, take 5 to 10 minutes, just the two of you, and soak it in. Soak in the fact that you just got married and this is your day and everyone here is celebrating you. And most cases, never, like, all of your guests have probably never all been in the same place at once. And soak that in. And a lot of times couples just kind of like, okay, I got married, now it's time to go party. Like, take a minute with each other and just soak it in.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. That's something I was talking about recently with somebody. Is there's this new trend that I've seen where people are doing like wedding after parties, and they're
Yes.
having, they're like, everybody's in town, we might as well have an after party. And they have like a formal after party with, family, really close friends, like the people that you're closest to. Because how often, for a lot of people, everybody's not in town.
Right.
Like that's going to happen, hardly ever. And so that's something that I've seen recently that I love, because I grew up out of state, all my family's out of state. And so I was like, that's such a wonderful idea of everybody is already here.
Absolutely.
We might as well keep going with just those couple people. I think that's really cool.
Day before like a brunch and then do the day after and make it a whole weekend event, you know?
I love that. And I've even talked to a couple venues recently that like really support that, and they have options where you can do a full weekend. And I think that's super cool. That's just such a cool concept, I think.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
Awesome. Okay, so now the opposite side. I'm going to ask you, what is the most unique or fun idea that you've seen recently at a wedding?
I would say traditionally most people walk down the aisle with their processional, and then the bridal party, or the wedding party I should say, the bride side typically sit or stand right behind the bride, right? Lately I've been seeing people flip-flop it so that way the bridesmaids and then the groomsmen can watch and see their friend get married versus like standing.
Oh yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? I'm trying to
so that way the bridesmaids are looking at the bride and the groomsmen are looking at the groom, or vice versa.
Yes, so they can actually see the emotion and the reaction and just have a better view of what's really going on, because oftentimes the wedding party is just standing up there and trying to soak it in, but they can't really see everything that's going on.
That's so
So
cool. I would have never even thought about that. But
yeah,
that is
I
such a good, yeah.
isn't that fun? Yeah, so that's kind of a newer thing that and unique thing that I've been seeing happen more. What else? Also having if the bride decides to, or groom or whomever, they come out first before they have their parents come. So there's like a aha moment for them to just have a chance to be there, and then the parent walks them down the aisle, which I think is really nice versus just initially
Mhm.
both going down. A lot of stuff pertaining to the ceremony I'm talking about right now, but that's just kind of in my head.
I love that. Yeah, that's super cool. And I'm still like obsessed about the idea that you said about having it where that way the bridesmaids can see the bride and
Mhm.
some groomsmen can see the groom, because that's such a special moment. And yeah, we have the whole night to party and celebrate and stuff like that. But that's such like a special tender moment that I think that's so important to capture the emotion of that. I always say wedding
Yes.
days are like a roller coaster of emotions. You're gonna laugh, you're gonna cry, you're gonna
Yes.
drink, and you're gonna have a good time
Oh,
all
for
in the
sure.
same day.
For sure.
Um,
And a lot of times couples come to me and they're like, I really want a chance to be able to talk to everybody on the day of, but it's just so chaotic and there's so many guests. How am I supposed to talk to everybody? I have been telling people, because I've been seeing this more frequently, is couples not just like, because traditionally people would just go to each of the tables and say hi, but that again, that takes a long time. Or doing the very traditional recessional line. I haven't seen that done in a while. I will say that has kind of it's a little more of a dated thing. But what I've been seeing are people getting in the middle of the dance floor, the couple getting in the middle of the dance floor, and then each table, the DJ calls up each table to take a picture with the couple. And then they have like a minute to just quickly say hi, la, 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 and then the next table, and then the next table. So it's a
I
really
love
quick.
that idea.
Yes, it's a really quick process for your guests as well as you as a couple to not only get a picture with everyone at your wedding, but have a minute to just say, thank you so much for being here. This means so much to me. And then literally it ends up being like, if you have 15 tables, it's like 15 minutes. It's really not that bad. So
Yeah.
it,
I
that's
love that.
been,
That's such a
yeah,
good idea. I'm even now my mind's thinking like, oh, that's so good for the photographer. And if you had a
hmm
photo booth, you could even do it like there's so
do it
many different
there.
options of how to do that. That is such
Exactly.
a great idea. I love that. Yeah, because I
Yeah.
think that's such a hard thing. Even I attended a wedding recently of a friend, and there were people that I knew that were at the wedding that I never got to talk to that night just because, and I wasn't even the bride or groom. Like I just
Yep.
was there. And it
Yep.
just was like with everything going on, it feels like sometimes you're like, oh, I was going to talk to this person, and then they already left because they have
Right.
to go home and get the kid or
Yep.
whatever. And so I think that's such a valuable piece of advice.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that really helps, and that way everyone feels like they were included in some way. There's a picture with them. Then the couple too was like, I made an effort to actually talk to almost literally everyone at my wedding, which is nice.
That's awesome. Okay, so going off of that, what is if you have a couple that is at the beginning of their wedding planning journey, or somebody, I know you also do, other events and baby showers and also
Mhm.
things too. So let's just say anybody who's at the beginning of planning an event, what is like the number one piece of advice that you would give them?
So I would say if you are wanting to hire a planner to help execute your vision, that would be the very first thing I would do. Just because they can give you the tools, the help with budgeting, all the things that you would want and need to make sure that your party or event, whatever it is, um, has all the elements that you are wanting, and also to stay in that budget. Because oftentimes, if you do it yourself, there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. But sometimes you end up securing vendors or securing a venue that maybe is more costly than what maybe a planner could help you with. Often planners have really good deals with different venues, different vendors. And when we work with all these people on a daily basis, we really get to know them and know exactly who they are as a person, what their work quality is like, all those things that can really help you make an event the best event possible. But that would be my first thing. Second thing I would say, if you are like, nope, girl, I got this, I can plan my own thing, find a venue. Okay. If you don't have like a certain space available to you that you can use, find a venue space. That's always the first thing. Just because they book up really quickly, you can't just pick a date and assume that the date is going to be available from the venue standpoint. So definitely find your venue. And then that's when you can start to kind of do the nitty gritty details. The venue is absolutely the first part.
I've seen a lot of people talking recently about venues. I feel like, especially post-COVID, like we're in a season where there are a lot of weddings going on. And like I've seen venues that, are booked out 2 years right now. And it seems like a lot of the like most popular dates are booked out so far in advance right now. And that's something that I'm seeing a lot of people struggling with. And also a lot of venues struggling with because, nobody wants to turn anybody down, especially if that's your dream venue, nobody wants to turn anybody down because we all want. I think that's one thing that I've learned, even you talking about all the venues and vendors knowing each other, as everybody that I've talked to wants, like, their goal is for the day to be the best, most magical day possible and for you to have the most fun. And so nobody wants, things to not work out. And so, and also just going with what you were saying about a wedding planner knowing people. I've even learned that as a vendor I've gotten some of my favorite people that I've ever met have been people that a wedding planner knew. And they said, oh, hey, you should also know this person too. And those are some of like the people that I absolutely love talking to on a daily basis.
I love that. Yes.
So
that's so great.
Don't underestimate how wonderful having somebody in your corner is. And like you said, there's so many different options. I love now that there's so many different options with full planning services, doing month of coordination, because like I know I'm somebody who, like, I want to have my hands in everything. I have opinions about everything. So I want to be very involved in the process, but I still want somebody to hold my hands a little bit and help take that stress away.
Yes. Well, and that's the piece too. I mean, when you work with a wedding planner, and at least for me, when you work with My Event Buddee, we have multiple different packages that will accommodate exactly what you're looking for, whether it is full planning or partial planning or just month of coordination or just design services, all those things. And again, because there are couples that are like, I want to be very hands-on. I also have a couple that's like, nope, I don't want to do anything. I want you to plan it all. Like,
now that would be my partner.
I mean, I work with such a variety of different people, and it's just such a blessing and such a joy because that's I think probably my favorite part of my job is I get to not only interact with amazing people on a daily basis, but I get to meet so many new people. And when you're in an industry like this that is very saturated, there's a lot of options, a lot of very, very talented people. It can be daunting trying to find the right one for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think too, with what you said, there are so many different people that specialize in so many different things. And so I think also finding a team, I'm just jumping on it. Now I'm taking over your interview and giving them my advice.
I love it. It's good.
But finding a team that has people that fit your specific vision and your specific personality, I think is so important and not talked about enough. Like, it really is. I love whenever I can go through event planners galleries like yours and you can see that each wedding is so authentic and so specific to that couple. That's actually like one of the things I love the most about Dueling Pianos is, it's all request based. We are, we don't know what we're playing until we get there either. And so it ends up being whatever is really authentic to that couple and their friends and their family in that moment. Because I think, we can pull up a Spotify list that has the top 200 wedding songs, but that might not be what your top 200 is. Like, my favorite is always, I love going to all the millennial weddings where we're playing Mr. Brightside and Blink 182 and everything. But really, it is so, like, it is authenticity and it representing you and your friends and your family. I just think is so important.
Absolutely. And every vendor it has a unique offering and has a unique profile and has a certain way of doing things, has a certain way of communicating. And just like every person has a way of communicating, every person has a thing that they like, a personality that, maybe it connects more with someone else. So it's just being able to find that right fit is so important, and it's so beneficial in the long run.
Absolutely. Okay, I have one last question for you.
Great.
This one also might be a hard one, but what do you love the most about your job?
Oh, that's a hard one because I love so many things about my job.
Put you on the spot.
So I will just say, I have my background is in design. I went to college for graphic arts. And so I have my bachelor's in fine arts. And so the design side of the wedding industry, event industry, I could do in my sleep. It's just something that I've always been very good at and I love doing. I decided, because education is so important to me, I wanted to get certified in wedding planning. So I got my certification. I am in the process of finishing my master certification, which is super
Congrats.
exciting. Yeah. So that's it. That's a big thing that sets my business apart, just throwing that out there. But what I love about what I do on a daily basis is I get to use that knowledge and that joy and that passion of mine, design, planning, communication, learning from other people on a daily basis. And my days are never the same. And I love that, especially with my ADD. So it helps me.
I feel you there.
Yeah. And I really get to meet some wonderful, wonderful people, and I get to be a part of the most magical day of their lives, and being able to soak that in. And I mean, yes, I will say my work weeks are not 40 hours. They are like 80-hour weeks. They're long, long work weeks, but I do think it's worth it just because I get to work with these amazing couples, turn their dream wedding into a reality, and then be there to see it come to fruition. It's such a joy, such a blessing, and I get to do it every day. And it's something that I think, not a lot of people get to experience. Some people I've talked to, they're like, I've never even been to a wedding. I'm like, I've been to hundreds. I mean, I've been to a lot. So I would say, again, there's a lot of reasons. Let's just say 2024 is pretty fully booked. But 2025, I'm still your girl. I've got lots of openings still. Granted,
Yes.
still reach out to me if you need something for 2024. We can maybe come up with a plan. But 2025, I'm your girl.
I love that. Well, thank you so much, Sydney. You are such a light, and it's so great to talk to you about all of these different trends and everything that My Event Buddee offers. And just, you have so many insightful opinions that I really love, and I'm so glad that you came on the podcast today.
Same. Thank you so much, Alyssa, for having me. It's been such a pleasure. And I really hope that, people watching, you guys really value what we talked about today. And if you have any questions or want to hear more from me or Alyssa, just reach out and go to our websites.
My inbox is open.
Yes.
Come be friends. Awesome. Well, this is Alyssa from Felix and Fingers. And again, Sydney from My Event Buddee. Thanks so much, everybody, for listening. And I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Eventful Endeavors, Secrets to Crafting the Perfect Celebration. We hope to have left you with some actionable ideas for your own event. If you like the show, please subscribe and definitely leave us a review. We read every comment. So until next time, happy planning and see you soon on Eventful Endeavors.